you so much for attending our PFL 3 playoffs virtual media day. With us here, we have Featherweight Chris Wade. Chris is going to be starting us off this morning. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Jay Anderson with the first question, please.
Hey, Chris, thanks very much for the time today. And, this is your third year going to the postseason, obviously a new weight class this year, but how have those previous appearances helped prepare you for what's to come this year?
You're muted, buddy. Chris, you're muted.
I believe that they've, sorry about that, that they've helped prepare me in that I have fought twice in one night in the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, and I've competed in dominant fashion in my first 2 fights of that evening, and it was only the second fight of the evening where I've had stumbles. So I know what it's like to have to push way beyond what I believe Friday night will call for, and I think that 1 fight per night structure that the PFL is going with is going to really, really play to my advantage.
Is there any part of you that's disappointed that it's not 2 fights in one night this year so that you can kind of go out and say, yeah, I can win both in one night? Yes,
there is. I wanted to right that wrong, so to speak. And I wanted to get over that hump and win a second fight in a night. But I think you guys know the 2 guys that I lost to the second fight of the night, in Loic and in Schultz are both very high level fighters. So hats off to them in their performances on those 2 previous seasons. But if I have my choice in doing what's best for Chris Wade to get to the title fight and win the title, it's 1 fight a night. So I'm gonna take that instead of letting my ego have a win in the 2 fight in a night situation.
Fair enough. And last one for me, just give us your thoughts on the matchup here. Obviously, Bubba took out the champ during the regular season.
Yeah, he took out the champ, but I mean, I'm pretty friendly with Lance, and I think everybody kind of knows from talking to Lance that Lance wasn't as into this mentally this year as he has been in the past. That's not to make excuses for him, but I know that wasn't the best Lance Palmer that we've seen. And that's just a stylistic matchup thing. Lance and Bubba are both really, really want to wrestle like the entire fight. So that was like a butting of heads stylistically. This for me is I'm going in there to really try to put punishment on Bubba and hurt him and finish him in the fight. So I think it's 2 totally different things, 2 different worlds.
All right. Well, best of luck this Friday.
All right. Thank you, Jay.
All right. Zach Grady, please.
How you doing? Zachary Grady, USA Today. Thank you very much, Chris, for taking some time for us. Just wanted to quickly ask, you are the 2 seed, you're the experienced fighter, you're the PFL veteran, and yet you are the underdog going into today's fight or Friday's fight. Bubba Jenkins seems to be getting all the hype and all the attention. How does that help you stay motivated during fight camp and especially this week, fight week, with all the hype going around?
Yeah, I can't lie. I'm extremely motivated by the fact that people find him to be like a clear cut in their mind favorite in this bout. I think that at best, if you really know what you're talking about in fighting, that you could give him like a coin flip situation where it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be really tough. It could go either way. But to be, calling him a clear-cut favorite is absurd. He doesn't really do anything that stylistically that poses a huge threat to people other than hold on to them in wrestling situations, which I'm very familiar with being a wrestler myself. So I'm struggling to even see where the real threat is in this bout. Let alone like how he's going to survive it. But if you want to make some money, man, I can wire you some. We could go go down to the casino for me. Let's make some money together.
I mean, you're plus 154 at the moment, so it seems like great odds. But just quickly to follow up then, is there a favorite piece of bulletin board material that you've been using so far that you've heard, or is there something that you look at each day to motivate you that has been said about this fight?
Yeah, the money line, right? Because that's where people seem to be putting their money, but that's no insult to me. I think my last fight, I wound up sliding into an underdog scenario too, and I knocked the guy out. So it doesn't mean anything. And other than that, there were some polls done online. Someone sent me, there was like a Tapology poll, and they had it like 87% of the people at the time. It was a fresh poll, but they had picked Bubba to advance to the finals. So I honestly don't know what people are looking at or what they're watching. I think they're just watching him be flamboyant and be like a big talker, and they're kind of captivated by that.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Mason.
Hey, Chris, this is Mason from Overtime Heroics MMA. How are you, man?
Hey, Mason, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing great, brother. Obviously, with you fighting Bubba, it's an extremely tough fight. As you alluded to earlier, he's going to be heavy wrestling. How do you think your style can overcome his wrestling?
Well, my style is perfect for him because I'm also a very high-level wrestler, and I spent a lot of my career doing exactly what he's doing right now, which is controlling fights, and so as to not take too much damage and to win the bout that way, to try to advance. But when you're dealing with somebody like me who's also a veteran and there's a lot on the line, I'm just the way you beat that is you refuse to accept any position that they may put you in. You have to make it every scramble a dog fight, and he has to get tired. He has to be, jaw open, backing up, trying to catch his breath. It can't be Bubba's pace, Bubba's fight, where he floats around the ring for 10, 15 seconds, throws a punch or two, waits for 2 minutes, goes for a takedown, holds you for 2 minutes, and then lets you up and kind of, throws a kick and a punch here and there and wins the round that way. It has to be a nasty, drawn-out fight, and that's what I intend to make it.
And lastly, from me, on the same card, obviously, Brendan Locknade and Mevleed are going to be fighting. Is there anybody you'd prefer out of them two to fight, or would you be happy fighting either guy?
I've gone back and forth with this one with a couple of interviews where I've sort of flip-flopped a few times. They're both great fighters. They're both confident fighters, and I have a lot of respect for those two guys as well. The matchup in my mind that I'd like to see myself in just slightly more would probably be against Brandon, because I want to fight a guy in the finals. I think the featherweight division is leading the way in the PFL season, and I think Brandon draws a lot of attention with the UK. He draws a lot of eyes. He's a figure in the sport that can talk and to back it up. And I want someone that can kind of carry the ticket with me. Unfortunately, sometimes unless they're really, really big, some of the Russian guys aren't as well known in America and in Europe as they are in their home countries. So I think it would be just a bigger ticket fight if I fight Brandon, and that's why I would say that I want to compete against him in the final.
Serge.
How you doing? It's Sergio Vicente from the Fight Podcast. Chris, how's everything going today?
Hey, what's going on?
Good, man. Well, so I have to ask you, what has your preparations for this fight and for this camp been, specifically because you don't have 2 fights to prepare for? How has preparations been specifically for Bubba?
Well, the preparation has been kind of started off with we continued to practice after the last fight right away. Like, we fought on a Friday. I was back in practice on Monday, but then we started to watch tape of his last 3-4 years worth of fights, and take notes and break down what he likes to consistently go to, what you see him do every bout. And then from there, we started to arrange practices at my home gym, where it's basically catered toward me and the situations that Bubba likes to control people in. So, I mean, I feel like I've already been in a fight with him 100 times, because I have high level wrestlers that are not all Americans in Division I wrestling, state champions, all emulating him, holding me. And I think that it's going to really pay dividends the way that we approach this in a smart, intelligent manner.
Awesome. And last from me, being that you're a veteran in this game, you've been doing this for a while, what would it mean to actually win this tournament with so many badasses in your weight class?
Yeah, like I said a couple questions ago, I think that the featherweight division, maybe it's just because I'm in it, but I feel like we're kind of carrying the torch right now, where we're putting on shows, and we're making sure that the fans have good things to say after the nights that we compete on. So that would mean means a lot to win the premier division in a tournament like this. And I've wanted this so bad. I wanted to be a world champion in one of the high end promotions in MMA, because I know that I'm capable of it, and I know I have the athleticism, the toughness, the skill set. So it's time to manifest that and to make it come true. It's time to buckle down and perform and be the man.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much for your time, man.
All right, Sergio, thank you.
Absolutely.
Michael Morales, please.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing today?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, brother. You've been here in this industry for almost 10 years. On November, actually, you will be celebrating your decade inside the MMA industry. From watching your first fight until what you are today, what do you think is the key behind your success as an MMA fighter?
Well, one of the main keys is my high level, high pedigree in wrestling that I came from. It allowed me to be a very successful MMA fighter right off the bat with very little actual MMA experience. So I was able to go in and win professional MMA fights before I really knew what the heck I was doing in like high level kickboxing or in most striking exchanges. So it was the vehicle that, allowed me to be successful but grow in the sport at the same time. I've got a lot to thank wrestling for in my life, and my career path is one of them.
And last but not least, Bubba has his own style. He loves the entertainment side, the trash talking, everything that he does before the fight to get into the head of his opponents. Does any of his, trash talking or entertainment side affected your game style, and what are you doing to avoid this happening?
No, I'm a veteran and I wrestled my whole life, so I know better than most that no matter what he says or does, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier fight. Conor McGregor said everything personal he possibly can to that man, about his family, about you name it. He said it, and he still destroyed him. So it doesn't matter what people say. That's all an attempt to make you a lesser competitor when you walk in there. And I don't pay attention to anything that Bubba does or says, because the only thing that matters is once they lock the cage door. That's literally it. Everything else that he does is for attention, and I don't pay any attention to it. I watch what he's done when the cage is locked against other competitors, and I'm gonna be in there. If he wants to run his mouth and talk while we fight, we can talk the whole time we fight. I love to do that. It gets me going. But the talk beforehand, I don't really believe in it. I get the entertainment side of it, and I appreciate him as a athlete trying to like bring eyes to the sport, but it doesn't get in someone like my head.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Ronald.
This is Raleigh Smith from Getting Real. Chris, how are you doing?
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Can't complain, man. As you know, back when in 2017 you were cut from the UFC, you were a different fighter, but now you have grown each and every time you step in the cage. What for you has been the biggest, not motivation, but the biggest evolution in yourself as a fighter to where you are right now?
Well, that adversity in being successful and not wanted, like being 5-2 in the UFC, coming off a win, and then being let go, not having a new contract extended, is a slap in the face. You don't hear that happen too much. It's just a testament to how undervalued those athletes are. So I kind of hit a lull after that. My first fight was Schultz here in the PFL. I was like very down mentally, down on the sport, and that fight was where he kind of took it to me in the regular season that year. First fight, it was a make or break moment for me where I said like that I need to kill off the old me and become a new person who's willing to put myself in harm's way in order to get the results that I want, which are exciting fights, exciting highlight moments and finishes. And I honestly think that even though I tried to make that mentality my own right away, in 2018, it's taken some time to actually develop. And I'm finally this year really opening up to where you see like that I would prefer to be in someone's face, punching, kicking, kneeing, than to be against the cage in control or on the ground in control. So yeah, I mean, I think it's all those moments where it's like somebody doesn't want you, right? And you can't understand why. That makes you grow. Pain makes you grow. So I would say that for me, it's those painful moments.
And now, speaking right now, as you are one win away for going to the finals, the pain that you went through, what would it mean for you to win and get that moment that you feel that is so rightfully yours?
Yeah, I think that in what I'm trying to accomplish, that's going to be a nice step in the right direction, but I have a lot more to prove to people. There's a lot more that needs to come out, and that people need to see that I'm a very, very dangerous fighter, a high level fighter, and that I could go with anybody in the world at this weight. So that's really my next step, is to put myself in a conversation where you guys, the media, is having conversations saying, damn, I mean, could Chris Wade beat the best guy over in this spot or over here? We think he can. And that's where I'm looking to do with my performances, where people are starting to like kind of fantasy match me up against some of the other top guys in the world.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, really appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks
All
for saying.
right. Of course, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
All right, guys, we have Bubba with us. Let's just get him connected. All right, Bubba, can you hear us? You're on mute. There he is, the bad man. All right. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and kick it off with Breeze.
What's up, Bubba? It's Breeze from the MMA Breeze. How are you, man?
What's up, man? Just getting into Florida, a little bit tired, but it's go time. A couple days left.
It's good to hear, man. It's good to hear. Look, something you said to me before the season really got going was, we were talking about your history and your fight career, and you said, things may have not gone your way every time because you weren't in your season, but then you elaborated, now you're in your season. And so far, things have been looking pretty good. You took out the former champ, Lance Palmer, and you're just doing fantastic under the bright lights. If you could just elaborate on what's contributed to the success this season and what's keeping you so driven going into the semifinals.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of people caught me and me, Dewey Cooper, and Ray Lewis's conversation after the last fight. We were talking about mentality, and Dewey Cooper had heard a great story from Ray Lewis earlier about the mentality of the lion. Why is the lion the king of the jungle when the rhino or the elephant is a bigger or more formidable opponent, or all these other animals are in the jungle? And the answer was the mentality. Sometimes you just don't have the right mindset. You don't have the right camp. You don't have the right visuals. You don't have the right inspiration or right motivation. And when you finally get into your zone, or you finally get into a place where you feel all these things are hitting on all the cylinders, it changes your mentality. And I would say that, simply giving more understanding to my calling on my life, and giving more understanding of why my mentality makes me a lion and not a rhino. So that, I would say, my focus on why I'm called to be here and what I'm doing is what was the main adjustment.
Right on. Best of luck to you.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Jay Anderson, please.
Thanks very much. And Bubba, you defeated the champ and the former UFC fighter during the regular season. So I'm just wondering if, in your mind, that's the best path you could have taken in terms of preparing yourself to go all the way this year.
Your question went out in the beginning. What'd you say? I didn't hear it.
Sorry about that, man. You defeated the champ, the defending champ, and a former UFC fighter during this regular season. So I'm just wondering if that's the best road you could have taken to get to the final this year.
I think I have one of the toughest roads, one of the harder roads. If you look at all the opponents, with Bobby Muffet being last minute change and him being, such a formidable opponent and such a good, tough fighter. Yeah, man, I think I've taken one of the tougher routes. I'm excited for the semifinals for both 45 brackets, for both sides of the bracket. But yeah, I'm in my own zone, in my own place, and none of that has, even Chris Wade being ex-UFC and, all these guys being ex-UFC. I care less where they're from. I know where they at, and they're in front of me.
And we spoke to Chris Wade just a few moments ago. He questioned you being the favorite. He said people are buying into your persona outside the cage. And I'm just wondering if you have any response to that.
Yeah, he need to keep my name out his mouth before I come snatch it out, because he got a lot to say about who I am and who the world think I am. I think when I touch him, he'll realize why everybody think I'm going to beat him, and why I know I'll beat him.
Fair enough. And last one for me, when you look at the opposite side of the bracket, Brendan and Mavlid, is there any preference on your side as to who you might face down the road?
I'll out punch the Russian. I'll out wrestle the British. It don't really matter. If the British one comes square, get smoked, he'll get ran over in the wrestling field. He'll get ran over in another field. I'm different. The wrestler is not as good as the wrestler as me, and the striker doesn't hit as hard as I do. So either one of those guys is still going to be at the bottom of my fist. That's just how I feel about it.
All right, man. Best of luck this Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mason.
Hey, Bubba, this is Mason from Overtime Heroics. How are you, man?
Doing well.
It's great to hear. I wanted to ask, how is your fight going to end on Friday night with Chris Wade?
I'm gonna. It's gonna end with me being one step closer to being a world champion, $1 million man. One step closer to the belt, one step closer to the check, one step closer to being on top of my game, and in front of most people's eyes. I'm already on the scene as far as one of the top 145 pounders in the world. And I don't know if my ranking is what it should be. I don't know what my ranking is, to be honest with you. I don't think they have me in the top 5, and I don't believe that there are 3 people at 145 pounds that can beat me in the world, regardless of organization. That's just how I'm feeling. That's how I'm coming. And the way I've been trained, the way I've been seeing, I don't see it any other way. I'm not sure if that answers your questions. I actually forgot your question.
And as somebody said earlier about Brendan Loughnane, obviously a lot of people are excited at a potential matchup between you and the Englishman. How would that fight go down? I know you mentioned
I'll beat the hell out of the Englishman. Y'all got love for him. I hear it in your voice. Y'all got a love for Brendan. And I ain't gonna lie, he's done a good job of being a tough opponent. But Diamond almost took his ass down and drowned him. I saw him literally gasp for water while swimming. And I'm one of the best sharks in the water. That shit's gonna be ugly. He got nothing in his camp. He's got no one in his camp like me. He got nobody in his camp that can do what I do, does what I've done. He's from a country that doesn't even appreciate wrestling like we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys grapple. Y'all don't wrestle. Y'all know moves. Y'all ain't wrestlers.
Well, best of luck Friday night, brother.
Thank you.
Fago Franklin.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. What does it mean to you that more athletes are talking about mental health, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. It takes a couple of brave, strong, more times than not, minority athletes to say, hey guys, there's a situation here, there's an issue here. And then everyone, kind of runs it over until, it hits their front doorstep or their backyard. And I believe that, mental health and mental awareness is major. I'm not going to put myself on any kind of couch, and just give the world everything that's going on with my mental stability or anything like that. But I will say that it is paramount, is key. The mentality is key. The mindset is key. Having things, be figured out while you're in an anxious mindset. All that type of stuff with the field that we do. I was talking to a friend the other day. She's like, man, it's really wild that you do this for a living. Like the way that you you live, you fight, you train. Like this is not many people have an everyday lifestyle that you have. And, just to hear and understand that, we are different. I'm a different person. I'm a different breed. I'm a different mindset. And I try to run with that.
All right. Thank you, Bubba.
Yes, sir.
Zach Grady.
How you doing, Bubba? Thank you very much for joining us. Just wanted to get your response to some comments made about 20 minutes ago from your opponent. He said that he is highly motivated, that he is the underdog coming into this fight, and anyone who knows fighting, it's ludicrous that you are the favorite and you are getting nothing but hype here. Your thoughts on Chris Wade?
I'm gonna punch Chris Wade in his face. The thing about Chris Wade is like if you look at the poster of the four featherweights, or if you look at the picture of the first 4 featherweights that are in the final 4, the Russian has a broken nose, the British has a broken nose, I have a broken nose, but Chris Wade has no broken nose. Is that not because he doesn't get hit in the face? No, Chris Wade, to be real with you, he not the toughest as far as mentality goes. He's got a scary ass mentality. Like he's real twitchy. He's real, he fights, he competes, he's a good athlete. But I looked into the way Chris Wade interviews. I looked into the way he speaks. I look into the way he talks, his interviews. One, thou protest too much. Thou protest too much. Shut the fuck up about not only me, but about everything you feel about me being being better than you. You know, he claims that I'm this Conor McGregor outside of the cage, and I'm only a Damian Maia inside the cage. Like I just kind of like hold and drag and hold. He doesn't understand that a lot of these people are my friends that I fought, and I was looking to knock these people out. But once I saw that, you know, I'm bullying people and they didn't want no smoke, they took the L that they wanted. They took the L that they was looking for, you know, to run around, waste the clock. Let me get out of here with my head still on my shoulders. He doesn't realize that those people who have come to my face and have questioned my skills got a real answer. They got a real answer, and he gonna have to have a real answer and a real solution for something that's not a problem. I'm not a problem. Problems have solutions. I'm a whole issue.
He says that he is plus 154 on the money line and is the smartest way to make money on Friday night. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is he looking at the wrong thing.
Thank you.
All right, last question for Bubba. Dylan, please.
Hey there, Bubba. I appreciate you making some time.
No problem.
I'm just curious because you were talking about like studying Chris Wade's interviews, mannerisms. Is this like a linear thing in your career where you study those kind of, you know, aspects and, you know, add that to your analysis leading into fights? Or is this more of like a recent addition to your preparations?
No,
there?
This is 100%. This is 100% me just looking at my opponent. You know, the art of war teaches you to know yourself and also know your opponent. And I know myself. I know I will bring it right to your front doorstep. I know there's no part about me that is, you know, that will turn away from a charging rhino. If I'm a lion, I'm just not going to turn away. I don't have that in me to turn away. Will I get tired? Yeah. Will I turn away? Hell no. I've seen this man turn away. His quit button is way too close to the top. And maybe it'll be buried deeper down because we're both wrestlers, and, you know, he's got this whole pride of him being, you know, the underdog, and, you know, he's coming with that bravado. But I've seen this man lose 2 fights already. Like, the fact that he's here, he's lucky. He's lucky to be here. Not he worked here. There's no freaking way he beat Anthony Dizzy. I should be fighting Dizzy right now. The fact that I'm fighting Chris Wade is the fact that he's lucky on the cards, and he's lucky I don't bust his ass when I see him. Like, he's talking a crazy game, and I'm not I'm not appreciative of the way he carries my name in his mouth.
I was going to say, just as a quick follow-up, is there a level of, I guess, trash talk and banter in this one that maybe is different from other fights? Or
I'm not, there's no trash talk, no banter. I'm not a rival. This dude reverences me. Oh, to fight a man like Bubba Jenkins, to him being a national champion, he reverences me. There's a fear in his heart. There's a humbleness there for sure. There's something I see there in his humble want to be champion, but water always finds its weight. It always finds its balance. If you're good, water gonna find good. If you're great, water gonna find great. And it's always gonna equal out. My man been to the same situation 2 times in a row and has not found great water. He won't find it either this time. He'll wash.
Appreciate the insights, and thanks for the time, man.
No doubt.
Bubba, thank you so much for coming out today. We really appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Alrighty, see you guys.
Thank you. All right, Antonio Carlos Jr. is with us. Antonio, can you hear us?
Hey,
okay?
how you doing, guys? Yeah, I can hear.
Yep, I can hear you. All right. We have Antonio here. Let's go ahead and get the first question started with Jay Anderson, please.
Antonio, you know, just give us your thoughts on this matchup coming up.
Hey, Jade. Well, I think it's a great match. It's a classic. You know, I think striker against a grappler. I know Emiliano is a very great fighter. Punched hard. You know, he got a lot of knockouts in the last season. His last 2 fights, I don't think was the best of his performance. But he's still like a great fighter, and I think it's gonna be tough, but I believe he's gonna win the next fight.
And fighting a former champ in the promotion in the semis, is that kind of the best preparation you can get almost for going to the final?
I'm sorry.
Is it kind of the best preparation you can get fighting the champ now in the semifinals to really prepare you for a final?
Yeah, kind of, right? Well, beating the champion, I think you get more confident, right, to the final, knowing that he won the last season the way he won, knocking a lot of people out. So passing through him, I think I'm gonna be even more confident, to the final to get the belt.
And just in terms of coming into the PFL from your old promotion with the UFC, how much does it mean to you, and how much motivation is it for you to make a statement by winning this season?
Yeah, man. I said it was a fresh start for me. I'm feeling really great for coming to PFL. I always like this system, how it work. And I always talk to my friends, even when I was on UFC, I talk, man, I love the PFL system. You know what I mean? Like, you win, you go to the next fight, you don't have this much of this trash talking and stuff. And I'm not a trash talking kind of guy, so I love it. And getting this belt, it's gonna I'll feel that everything that I passed through really worth it.
All right, well, best of luck this Friday.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Michael Morales.
Hey, Antonio, how are you doing today?
Hey, Mars, how you doing, man? Good, thanks.
Perfect, man. You've been here active for 8 years inside the MMA industry. What fuels your fire? What motivates you to keep fighting inside this tough industry?
Yeah, it's like desire to reach my goals, like to reach the goal. I never get a bell. I won the Ultimate Fighter, but I want to put some bell on my wrist, you know what I mean? So I like that the feeling of winning fights, training, going, like, improving every day. All this motivated me, doing what I like to do. I love training, I love fighting. So living by that is really motivating me. I feel grateful for doing what I do.
And last for me, how do you feel representing your home country, Brazil, or in Portuguese, como você se sente representando Brasil?
Especially against Argentina now, right?
The rivalry, the classic.
Yeah, it's a very classic, especially on soccer. I feel great. I'm really proud to be a Brazilian. Now I'm living in US, but I love my country. After all my fights, I always go to Brazil, see my family, my friends, energize, recharge the battery to come back, full of energy. So I feel really, really proud, especially after the Olympic Games. I see a lot of Brazilians doing so well, and that motivated me even more.
Perfect, man. Muito obrigado. Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Breeze.
Hey, Antonio, it's Breeze with the MMA Breeze. You just touched on my what my question was a minute ago, but the PFL is very popular for their format, for the not having to talk all the trash and being able to get a shot at the title. And you have had a lot of experience in MMA and the UFC specifically. In preparations to this PFL semifinal, do you feel more motivated in training camp as compared to your UFC bouts, now that you're en route to that PFL belt and $1 million?
Yeah, definitely, man. When you feel you close to the belt, you feel more motivated. You always thinking about the belt, thinking about the title. That's what I want to reach in my career, and I never could fight for the belt on UFC. The system is a little different, you know what I mean? Some time ago I was in a 5-win streak and I was not even close to the belt, what is a little weird. But now I feeling really motivated, especially my fights. I win against Tom Lawler. Is a very tough guy, hard to submit, and I could submit him in the first round. Unfortunately, my last fight against Vinny was not the way I expect, but I think I was on the way to the victory. I think I was doing pretty well the way we work at the gym, and now I have great opportunity, to fight against the former champion, and just motivated, man.
Awesome.
Feeling really great.
Awesome. Best of luck to you, Antonio.
Thank you so much, man.
Suki.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the time, Antonio. I just wanted to ask on a bit of a lighter note. We saw Junior Dos Santos part of the broadcast team last week. You have a really close relationship with him. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Maybe that's something you want to see more often, maybe how he felt about it.
I'm sorry, about Junior what?
Oh, I was just saying, I know you have a close relationship with Junior Dos Santos, and we saw him part of the broadcast team last week. And I was just wondering if you enjoyed that part of the broadcast and if it's something you can see him doing in the future.
Yeah, man, it's great. Junior is a great friend of mine. He's like a family. We always together. He brought me to MMA world. We started training together when I was 15 years old. He was 21. His first contact with martial arts. Then we moved to Rio de Janeiro to train after the Ultimate Fighter. Then we moved to US to train at American Top Team, at UFC together, and maybe in the PFL next year. I don't know. You never know. But yeah, man, really happy to have him around. He's a good energy, great training partner. We really close friends. He's part of my family, and it's great to have him around.
Let's cross our fingers for that next year. Best of luck.
Thanks, man.
Serge.
Antonio, how you doing, man? Sergio from the Fight Podcast.
How doing, Sergio?
Good, man. So let me ask you this. How have preparations for this fight specifically been in comparison to some of your last ones? You've had a lot of grappling heavy guys first. Now you have a guy who wants to stand and bang. How has preparations for you been for this camp?
Yeah, not much change. I just changed the training partners, because I used to train with some more grapplers, jiu-jitsu guys. I had Bushesh in my camp. Now I also have him because I always train jiu-jitsu. I never stopped training jiu-jitsu, and we always helping each other. But I try to use more strikers on my on my camp. Some heavy strikers. Like I train a lot of Thiago Santos, Junior. A lot of good guys that help me a lot. But besides that, not much of change. I just keep the same mentality of keeping improving, getting him stay healthy and get ready for the fight.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time, Antonio.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, Ronald.
This is Raleigh Smith from Getting Real. Antonio, you brought this up previously. You talked about your last loss didn't go the way you wanted to. I mean, not loss, but like performance. But it's just in that now moving forward to this fight, how do you move forward from this without thinking of what happened previously, wondering if it could possibly happen again?
You talk about the Divini, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you never expect a no contest, used to think, I'm gonna win, I don't know what's gonna happen, but not a no contest fight. But I think I was on the way to the victory, I was doing pretty well. Well, the good thing is I still healthy. I didn't get any injury, was not a tough fight because we in the PFL, we gotta fight every 2 months. So I stay healthy, and ready for starting my camp again. So I just rest for a week, some days, just to recover the body from the camp that I had. But I didn't hurt myself in the fight. What is a good, I tried to get the good side of all of this.
And you brought up before how much it would mean for you to win a belt. So for you, knowing that you're only one fight away, what for you is that added energy and motivation to know that one more win gets me to what I hope to get?
Yeah, man, as I said, I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling really great, happy for everything happening in my life. close to the goal, right? It's something that I always want to achieve. And now it's pretty close. So I'm really happy, training a lot, giving my best, good energy around, with all my friends and training partners, coaches and everything. We are really confident on this victory, really confident, on the winning the title. So we just going step by step, believing in ourselves, doing our best, improving, getting the good strategy, good, energy and going forward.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you. Antonio, appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
We'll
you.
see you
Thank you, guys.
tomorrow.
See you. Bye.
Have
Bye.
a good day.
Have a good one.
All right. So we are getting Sordi connected. And if you have a question for Emiliano, go ahead and raise your hand. Sordi, can you hear us okay? You're on mute.
Emiliano, estás mutado y también tu cámara, por favor.
Give me a second, please.
Take your time, just hurry up. It was just a little joke, guys. Just a little joke.
There he is. All right. Let's get you spotlighted. Okay, awesome. All right. Jamie, you want to go ahead and start us off?
Jaime Barrios de MMA Fan 507 desde Panamá. Saludos, Emiliano, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, todos tranquilos.
Me alegro. Emi, eres el campeón de la última temporada. Ya estás en semifinales a un paso de ir por esa pelea para revalidar el título. ¿Qué nos puedes hablar del field de peleadores o la diferencia en el field de peleadores entre la temporada anterior y esta? ¿En esta ha habido como una mejora en el nivel de la división?
No, yo creo que el nivel del 2019 también fue muy bueno. Si lo decís en cuanto a mis peleas, que las peleas anteriores fueron rápidas y estas fueron más largas, creo que peleas son peleas, todas son distintas. Tal vez peleo de vuelta con los mismos peleadores del 2019 y, no sé, pierdo o gano por puntos. Creo que también yo no llegué preparado de la mejor manera a la temporada esta, pero creo que el nivel de peleadores fue muy bueno y ahora es muy bueno también y va a seguir creciendo seguramente.
Vale.
All right, we're real fast. We're going to go ahead and translate that. 1 second.
So I didn't get the question, but he was speaking about his previous opponents and how if he were to face them again, he could potentially lose or potentially win. He just used the fight game, one fight at a time.
All right, go ahead with your next question, Jamie. You have one?
Yes. Emi, la última pregunta, desde el punto de vista económico, está muy fuerte el tema en los medios especializados de MMA del pago a los peleadores en las diferentes promotoras. Ejemplo, la entrevista de Cannonier el sábado, donde gana y dice, bueno, estoy quebrado y necesito volver a pelear. PFL, el campeón, se lleva un pago de $1 millón. ¿Crees que hoy por hoy PFL, desde el punto de vista económico, es la mejor opción para los peleadores profesionales de MMA?
Sin ninguna duda, creo que es el evento que mejor paga. Y más allá de eso, el trato que recibimos en la empresa es muy bueno, creo que nadie se puede quejar, siendo que, bueno, yo he estado también en otras empresas grandes, todos acá casi hemos estado en otras empresas, y el trato humano que tenemos es diferente, nos pagan mejor, así que yo creo que, bueno, por eso estamos acá y estamos contentos de estar acá.
Para despedirme, Emi, rapidito, en la última conferencia, cuando ya se sabía que ibas a pelear con Antonio, le dijiste que Argentina era mejor que Brasil en fútbol y Argentina le ganó la Copa América a Brasil. ¿Esa es una señal de lo que vamos a ver el viernes?
Esperemos que sí, esperemos que sí. Pero la verdad, yo no sé nada de fútbol, no miro fútbol, así que fue solamente una broma que hay siempre entre Brasil y Argentina.
Dale, listo. Muchas gracias.
A ti, gracias.
The previous question was in regards to fighter pay in mixed martial arts, referencing Jared Cannonier making comments about how 60% of his purse is already gone off the top just due to taxes and whatnot. Emiliano's response was that he is very happy with the PFL. The pay at the PFL is top notch. He's fought in other organizations and as have the other fighters on the roster, and there are no complaints. And he's also very happy to be the way he's treated here with the organization at PFL.
All right. Zachary Grady, please.
Yes. Your opponent, Antonio, has said that in your last fight, you made a lot of mistakes. And if you make those mistakes with him, he's going to either submit you or knock you out. Just wanted to get your response to that comment.
Ahorita estaba hablando Antonio Carlos Jr. y él dijo que si en la pelea, si tú haces algo mal entre la pelea, que él va a tener la oportunidad de noquearte o de poner una submission, hacerte que te rindas. ¿Y qué piensas tú de estos comentarios? Que él está esperando que tú hagas algo mal durante la pelea.
Todos esperamos eso. De eso se trata el deporte. Es como jugar al ajedrez, pero con el cuerpo. Todos esperamos lo mismo, el error del otro para atacar nosotros. No hay nada nuevo en eso.
He says, this is a human chess match. The same comment that he made, I have about him. I'm waiting for him to make a mistake so that I can knock him out or that I can submit him. This is just a game that we play.
Thank you.
All right, Serge.
Emilio, ¿cómo estás? Sergio de Fight Podcast aquí. Yo te quiero preguntar, y para usted, ¿cómo te sientes representando, tú sabes, Latinoamérica aquí en el PFL, uno de los ligas más grandes en Estados Unidos?
No, la verdad que para mí es súper, me siento muy orgulloso, soy el único latino de habla hispana en el evento, entonces creo que siento, no solamente represento a Argentina y a mi equipo, sino creo que hoy en día represento a toda Latinoamérica y para mí eso es grandioso. No siento presión, pero sí siento una fuerza más por eso.
Y tú sabes que yo voy a preguntar, okay, I'm sorry, I know you got to say it in English, Majid.
So the question was in regards to how does it feel to be the only Latin representative in the playoffs? And Emiliano's response is that he's happy to be a Latin representative as well as a representative for his country of Argentina. And while it doesn't add any pressure, it does give him extra motivation going into the fight.
Y mira, yo lo voy a preguntar en inglés porque yo no lo pienso como yo digo en español. So, in terms of your opponent that is coming up, what preparations have you made that are different from some of your other matches?
Él es un peleador que va a intentar derribarme de Jiu-Jitsu, así que obviamente entrené defensas de derribos, pero también eso es, la gente no lo sabe, pero creo que lo más fuerte que tengo es el Jiu-Jitsu, no tanto el strike.
Okay.
Nada más que no se desenvolvió en mis peleas porque, bueno, en mi mente siempre está terminando las peleas rápido y la pelea empieza en pie. Pero no tengo problemas de hacer jiu-jitsu con nadie. Entreno en Atos todos los días con los mejores del mundo, así que me siento preparado para hacer una lucha en el piso también con él o con quien sea.
Okay. Emilio, gracias por tu tiempo hoy.
So the answer to the question that was just asked, he says that he foresees potential takedowns coming from Shoeface during the fight, but he's been training takedown defense. And what some people don't know about his game is that he actually trains jiu-jitsu a lot more than he trains a striking game. And so he's very comfortable going to the ground if the fight goes there.
Dylan Volcker.
Hey there, I appreciate you taking my call. I'm just kind of curious because I had noticed the picture on Instagram the other day getting in work with, Phil Davis, Jesse Taylor. I'm kind of wondering who have been some of the main sparring partners and training partners ahead of this one.
¿Sí? ¿Cuál es? Él vio una foto tuya sobre Instagram que estabas con Phil Davis y Jesse Taylor y quería saber con quién más estás entrenando, en qué te están ayudando esos que estaban en la foto.
Esos son mis compañeros de wrestling, ¿no? Jesse Taylor es muy buen wrestler, fue 2 veces campeón del TUF. Y bueno, Phil Davis, todo el mundo lo conoce, fue campeón del mundo de lucha. Así que sin duda ellos me estaban ayudando en los sparring, poniendo presión para derribar o intentar derribarme. Pero son solamente parte del equipo. Como les comentaba, tenemos un equipo muy grande en San Diego. En San Diego entrenamos todos los pesos pesados, todos juntos. Así que hice un gran campamento para esta pelea.
In particular to Jesse Taylor and to Phil Davis, they are both in his wrestling camp to help his wrestling game. Jesse Taylor he won TUF 2 times in 2 seasons. Phil Davis is a college national champion, but they are only a part of his team because in the local San Diego area, the team is much bigger than just those 2 individuals, and they are just part of the overall strategy for his wrestling.
And just as a quick follow-up, if I could, because, there's the, undefeated streak running through the last couple PFL seasons, faced some, very tenured light heavyweights throughout the PFL's history. I'm wondering, where does Antonio stack up to previous opponents that have been, tested skills with there?
Es que has tenido muchos adversarios aquí en PFL que han sido muy buenos. ¿Y qué piensas tú sobre Shoeface, en donde él está en ese nivel contra todos los demás que has peleado?
No, creo que el nivel es bastante parejo. Todos tenemos el nivel de primer nivel, o sea, estamos en las grandes ligas, todos tenemos el mejor nivel que se puede encontrar en el mundo y hay que estar muy atentos porque una sola pestañeada, solamente cerrar los ojos un segundo, las peleas pueden terminar.
I view Shoeface, he's on the same level of my other opponents. We are in the big leagues. So, once you're on this level, any single mistake can cost you the fight.
Definitely. Thanks for the time and insights.
Sergio, oh, you already went. Michael Morales.
Emiliano, buen día, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? ¿Todos tranquilos?
Sí, todo tranquilo por acá en Puerto Rico. Mano, muchas gracias por tu tiempo. Quería preguntarte, en el fútbol tienen a Messi y tienen a Maradona. En el baloncesto tienen a Ginóbili y a Scola. En el MMA está Poncinibio y está Emiliano Sordi. ¿Qué se siente ser el pilar o uno de los pilares principales de la industria del MMA en tu país y ser un pionero en esto?
No, la verdad que bueno, muchas gracias por el lugar en donde me pones. Creo que sí, somos un país que solamente prioriza el fútbol y nada más. Por eso nos deja a nosotros bastante por debajo. Pero sin embargo, sí, ocupamos un lugar importante, aunque sea en nuestro deporte. Y creo que mi meta ahora obviamente es seguir ganando peleas y ganar el título de nuevo, pero sin lugar a duda me motiva muchísimo también inspirar a los nuevos talentos. Así que gran parte de todo esto también lo hago por eso.
So the question was in reference to, so Messi's kind of the face of soccer in Argentina, Ginobili is the face of basketball in Argentina, and when it comes to MMA fighting, it's Ponzinibbio and Emiliano Sordi as the faces of Argentinian MMA. Emiliano's response is that yes, football is going to be always on the forefront in Argentinian pop culture just because it's the biggest sport in the world. But to me, being an Argentinian fighter, it adds extra motivation to my fight game just because I want to put Argentina on the map for MMA.
Y último, pero no menos importante, estás ahora mismo en la clásica rivalidad de Argentina y Brasil. Ya Antonio nos dio su opinión al respecto. Eso se ve en fútbol, se ve en baloncesto y se ve en prácticamente todos los deportes. ¿Qué se siente tener la oportunidad de llevarle a Argentina esta clásica rivalidad, pero ahora en el MMA?
Sí, como dije antes, o sea, no tenemos ningún problema con Brasil, pero siempre que haya una rivalidad deportiva, es más como un juego, creo, que hay entre argentinos y brasileños, ¿no? De estar pinchándose uno con otro, a ver quién gana. Pero te digo la verdad, mira, el 90% del día hablo portugués, todos mis compañeros de entrenamiento, el 90% son brasileros, así que no tengo nada en contra de los brasileños, al contrario, estoy súper agradecido a ellos, a su país, viví en Brasil también, Así que es simplemente un juego Argentina-Brasil.
The question asks about Argentina and Brazil having a rivalry in other sports and now finding its way in this PFL matchup between Emiliano and Shoeface. And Emiliano's response is that there is nothing personal between a rivalry between Argentina. He says it's just an added layer that adds to the fun of the fight. And throughout his day-to-day life, 90% of what he speaks is actually Portuguese, and even 90% of his training partners are of Brazilian descent. So there's nothing personal, but to him, he loves representing Argentina, and the Brazilian culture is also part of his life.
Perfecto, muy amable, muchas gracias por tu tiempo y mucho éxito.
No, a ti, gracias.
All right, guys, that concludes our virtual media day for today. Emiliano, thank you so much for giving us your time. We really appreciate